Many people say that music is a universal language. If that's the case, I would like to use music as a platform to talk about health. My name is Dr. Moshe Lewis, and I'm a full-time practicing physician who loves music and the way it affects our brains, our bodies, and our well-being. I would like to invite you to tune in where we interview musical artists about health matters that are important to them. But the truth is, we'll be discussing topics that affect all of us. From mental health to body image, cancer screening to stroke, our health is truly our greatest asset. So the goal is to open the dialogue on health to embrace topics that we don't always like to talk about in a way that's raw, candid, and lit. Hopefully, these discussions will improve the health of our community. After all, your health matters to me, and if I can make it sound more beautiful, then that's something we should all listen to. Music and medicine, when you hear those words, how do they speak to your heart?
Music and medicine. Music is medicine. You feel me?
Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Always excited to be joined by my co-host, Kathleen Bradley. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Moshe. How are you doing today?
Good,
Man,
good,
you got
exceptional.
everything all together.
Yeah, getting there. Little by little. Got a lot of rehab to do.
I know, but that's good for the rehab. You are the doctor. You
You're
cannot
right.
get sick or anything happen to you,
No
okay?
excuse. Absolutely. And we've got a young man with us today.
A young man?
Yes.
Hold on now. Wait a minute. Where is
You're a young man.
Where is he?
young? Okay. And who might this be?
Ernest Thomas. Yes. So we remember him from back in the day. What's happening now, but also Malcolm X. He's just been in screen and film for years and years.
Seen writing, all kind of good thing. Now an author.
Yes,
Whoa.
exactly right.
This is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
We know what the bodies are.
Sure, right, exactly. Full mount. But no, welcome, young man. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ro.
Nice.
Thank you for having me.
Right, it's our pleasure. You're looking good, I must tell you.
Thank you.
Because I see you out occasionally. You know, we always run into
Yeah, always great
same
to see
circles and everything.
Yeah,
Just so
such a sweetheart.
wonderful. Thank
Because usually beauty and nice doesn't go together, but she's always been that humble. And you know how people just wear their beauty on their sleeve, but she's always been humble about it. But you know she's stopped traffic, you know, with that beauty.
All right, I'll give you that check. I'll give you that check later.
Right. He's not trying to cash it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was gonna say your first name is Moshe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that Jewish?
Yes, I get it.
Oh, so you're half Jewish.
Yes.
Ah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Diane.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. But we're so happy to have you here today. And, you know, we're going to talk and delve into quite a few things concerning from your past and everything up to date and your books and all of that good stuff. Let's just kind of start out with how you got into show business.
Oh, okay. I was a late bloomer. It was in my graduate year. I was I just did 1 year, and but I was going to be a social worker. So my degree, my bachelor's was in sociology, a minor in psychology. But my best friend there, Jake Smith, I knew his brother first, but he came there and just took me under his wings. I never had the father, never met my father. And I would tell people that how lucky you are that you have a father. So Jake became that big brother father. And I just made him laugh all the time. So he says, man, you know, Ernie, I'm telling you, you could do what those actors do on TV and in the film. And like, oh no, man, I'm going to be a social worker, you know? So, and he said, well, at least take a class. And I took a class. I got an A in the class. And that teacher, he was the white guy with this bright red hair. And the last day, he says, can I talk to you? He says, you know, you could do this for a living. I said, oh, no, thank you, but I'm going to be a social worker, right?
I got my plan.
I never wanted to be an actor. I used to admire my friends in grade school, junior high school, and college. Like, man, how do you do that? How do you learn those? And then I fell in love with it, you know? And again, Jake made me audition for the American Academy in New York, where Robert Redford and all these great people went. And I said, Jake, they don't want me. He said, Ernie, I will kick your if you don't. Yeah, so he actually took me to the audition. They had local. They're in New York, but they were having regional auditions. And he said, go in there. You're gonna get accepted. I got some Schlitz malt liquor here. We're gonna celebrate. And sure enough, I got welcome. And then I was blessed to get hired on Broadway with Robert Guillaume. I had to take a leave of absence, and that's when I knew about the hate and jealousy, because when I came back, out of 200 kids, they end up the first year they eliminate 140, so only 60 are left, and we're like, all we're in this together. When they singled me out and I got on Broadway, I came back, I was hated. It was like, yeah. So I said, okay, then I'll be even greater. Look, I have a strong faith in Christ, and I believe in John 14:14. Ask anything in my name, I will do it. So me and Christ alone, is sufficient. So then wanted to be on TV. My grandmother passed away. She didn't understand Broadway. I said, Grandma, I'm on Broadway. I was doing, member of the wedding. And they said, Broadway what, baby? Better come pick you up.
Broadway and what?
No. Like, in church, there's a pulpit, but instead of the pulpit, and they didn't understand. I said, well, when are you going to be on TV?
Yeah.
So, grandmother died. That's when I just felt the urge to go. And I tell people, taking that leap of faith, kids, that's the secret. I say, you don't believe God. He's not a liar. So when he says, ask anything in my name. So I went on a red eye, didn't intend to come back from New York. No place to stay. Say with this friend, your friend, your mother-in-law, all that, couches on the floor. And within a year, top 10 show in the nation, but a river of tears.
Yes, right.
You cry a river, but no one ever saw those tears. All they saw was me showering, getting out with the same 2 or 3 suits and how arrogant I was and aloof. But me, Christ, and you alone is enough.
I want to tease that out because there's some depth to this story that I don't see too often when we do these interviews. You actually didn't want to be an actor.
No.
So it's even stronger. And you were strongly encouraged not to do it by the church.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
About that.
Oh, you did your look at you.
Every now and then. Every now and then
Church of
at
God.
my clinic.
Oh, my Lord. Church of God in Christ, and they had a thing about you could be in the world but not of the world. So they were like, "You're going to hell," and basically, Denise Williams. If you saw her, the documentary they did on her, they told her don't come back to church,
Right.
and to the point that her grandmother, who's a Christian woman, because she was going to be singing with Stevie Wonder in the background. She had to go to California from Gary. She said, I hope the plane don't make it.
Ooh.
See, that's when you over the top.
Right.
So, and my pastor and I were really close. I'm 12 years old till I went to college. And then I said, Lord, the thing they taught me is have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So, Lord, you ain't telling me what they're saying. So they said, I'm going to hell. I went, you first.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I had fallen in love with the acting, but also knowing that God supersedes the denomination, the pastor, and everybody. And I tell kids, again, part of me was hurting. I like to be loved, I'm a people pleaser, but it didn't happen then. I was like, oh no, I'll go it alone. And it's a lonely road to travel. When the church is saying you're going to hell, my Kappa brothers think it's a joke. Oh, brother party, hey, And then my mother thought I was being voodooed, because my mother don't watch TV. Or not. My grandmother watched TV, but my mother watched nothing, just the Bible and talking and praying for people. And she's a prayer warrior.
Where's she from, your mom?
Mississippi.
Oh,
Tunica, Mississippi. And she has literally prayed for at least 4 people that the doctors are baffled for, that they cannot believe they're still alive today. That's the type of faith she had. She died at 91 years old 2 years ago. But I wish I had her faith. But she did not. She wasn't in the TV thing, but she was happy for me. So I said, what do you do when the church is against you? Your mother thinks you've been voodoo. The Kappa brother, your family, so it's only you alone believes in this. Now, Jake, my friend Jake, he would call, but his wife hated my guts. She's like, oh, I don't see he's funny at all. I don't get it. So it was just me in that little Gilbert Hotel in Hollywood, crying. People don't know a river of tears. Like, Lord, because you will have the doubt. And it's okay. God don't mind you having that, but don't speak it to nobody but him. So, Lord, is this real? Because, Lord, I'm having doubts, Lord, and ask him to have the faith that you don't have, as Joel Osteen says. Ask God to have the faith you don't have, But at that time, I'm just like, Lord, I just cry myself to sleep, but your head is hurting. You literally cry, then you go, okay, God didn't say go home, so I'm just shower and put on a face, and people are, look at that arrogant, that arrogant fool, what are they talking about me? It wasn't that. I had the confidence in God, in Christ. And since God don't lie, it's going to happen. But I tell people, you got to work at it like it's your last day. I thought I was going to die. So every day I didn't want to die with the dream in me. And that when you do that, God propels you ahead of all the competition because you're giving him gratitude for every second you're alive. So when I hear people say, oh, I tried, I'm like, you ain't working hard enough. If you work at it like your life depends on it and you putting God first, it's impossible for you not to make it. But you're not. You're doing just enough because you think you got time. And the young people are so arrogant because you think you're 20, you're 19, you're 14. You can die any day. You're not God. So when you know that time, you live each day like it's your last, that's when the miracle, that's when the supernatural happens.
Sana, talk to us about some of those early auditions and the lengths that you went to try to get roles.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my. Well, I auditioned for a Broadway play that Haywood Nelson played Dwayne on What's Happening. He ended up getting, but I was, he really was a young kid. At that time, I was 24 years old, and I went up, it was Michael Bennett who did Dreamgirls. And I come in there and I'm bent over. I got the T-shirt, I got the jeans on and a shoe. And so Michael Bennett, they're laughing. Ernest, how old are you? I said, 12.
In your mind.
All right.
He says, well, Ernest, we're looking for a shorter 12.
Shorter 12, a little younger looking 12.
So, but he came up to me and he shook my hand. He said, but trust me, Ernest, they're going to hear from you, because I had the guts to do that.
Right. That's funny.
And then I went in the role I did get, but they said no solicitation because they had certain people that were singing. And I didn't have an agent. I just knocked on the producer's door and he was cursing me out. And you so. And I remembered how I could put on a sad face to my mother and my uncles. They always gave me whatever I want. So as he's cursing me out, I just look out. And he's cussing and cussing. I'm just telling him. And they said, well, how can you, look at me. You see, right? But imagine, 24, just imagine it. Yeah. Oh, come on in, since you're here, because I would not say nothing. I'm looking also. Then he said, look, well, Ernest, you got a baby face. This is a thug. This is a gangbanger. And I tell you what, we'll look at everyone. If we don't find anyone, we'll get back with. But they didn't find anyone. They got back with me, and God gave me this monologue. It was like 5 a.m, and I had a black tape recorder, and it just came like the rappers like freestyle, and I recorded that and I memorized it, and that's when I went and they like, oh my God, that's incredible. Who's the playwright? And I said something Ramirez. I made up. I said, yeah, he's a Puerto Rican playwright. Yeah, so but let us know when that is constant. Sure. Anyway, I got it. Tony Perkins was Psycho, the song. So he directed it. So he chose me, and I got the best reviews.
Is that right?
Man, it was in Falmouth, Massachusetts. They would stand up. They gave me, because I was a villain when I got shot, they applauded. Some on the floor like, oh my God, they hate me. And I don't know that when I come out there, they jump up, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
bravo. So
It was
Yeah.
your job, man. You
Yes.
convinced them, and that is what all this whole crazy
Yes.
thing is all
Yes.
about. It's
Yes.
convincing your audience and making them believe you are who you are.
Yes.
And we have to put on many faces to do that all the time.
Oh.
And you've done a variety of different
Thank you.
shows and TV and movies that I think people are not even aware of. What was
Thank you.
one of the most favorite or best, aside from, the Norma, Raj and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you've done?
Oh, Malcolm X was a surprise because Spike didn't want me, because he said, well, my agent tried, the manager tried, and we think he's a great comedic actor, but this is a serious film, and no offense like that. But, they don't get, because you do one thing, like in New York,
Stereotype.
That's it.
you know what I'm talking about? I'm doing the dramatic thing in New York. And they tell me, the
Yeah.
action producers is, Ernie, I never see you doing comedy. Then you come to the LA, you do I can't see you doing dramatic. I'm an actor. You study all of it. So he won't budge. And then I had a friend to pretend to be my manager because he's very arrogant. And he was a friend of me because he
Right.
was jealous, but I knew he would love to play that role. And he's, well, Ernest Thomas is an icon, and he's admired millions of people. I want to have a press conference and say, you at least owe him an interview. Yeah, you don't have to hire in your little movie, but you will interview Ernest Thomas just out of dignity, out of respect for his. So they were going to just interview. But I came dressed in this suit. I borrowed goddamn money. I had spent all my money. So I borrowed this suit. Oh man, that suit was clean, and I had the shoes. I talked to the Brothers of the Nation. I had the bow tie, all that. And I went there as that. But Robbie Reed just, but she has just that blank face. Yeah, and it's okay. But we just want to see you. And by the way, your manager was extremely rude. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of him. I've been hearing a lot.
Yes,
That's always
right.
gonna
Oh my
say.
God.
Yes, that's a good thing for Robbie.
Yeah.
Oh,
So she said, well, you're here. You might as well read from there. I said, oh, they're being nice right there. Oh, then I get, Spike want to see us. Oh, they really being nice. Well, they're doing thing. Then like, oh, they want you to meet with Denzel. So wow. That's I really appreciate it. I told my friend, oh, I'm not gonna get it. He always hires the same people, And to my shock, I could not believe, because he let me walk out though. After I did it with Denzel, I'm walking out and I'm going to the elevator. I'm cussing him out of my mind. I'm calling him every kind of cuss word I can think of. I'm so sick and tired of this so and so.
Yeah, right.
And as I'm about to, he said, Ernest, would you come in? I said, here we go. Yeah, you did great, but we want another way with it.
Right.
And shit, you got the role. And I know Denzel had the thing. I jumped on.
You
Bear hugging Denzel. Bear hugging everybody in the room.
What part did you play in that?
Sidney X.
Okay. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
Sidney
I gotta
X.
go back and see it now.
Yeah, he
for
was the
sure.
one that tried to warn him that they were gonna. He had been hired to kill him, but he couldn't. He was going to wire his car, so they 12. And I had talked to, there were two Sidney X's, so I did my own work. So there was a Sidney X that was kind of violent, that didn't take no mess. Then there was a softer one, so yeah. So, but it was a great, and then to get that response,
Right.
of from the people, even today, people like that, that's their favorite role, But Chris Rock with everybody, Mr. Omar, I love Mr. Omar. He is such a scoundrel. He is such a scoundrel, but the tragic. The kids love that. Anywhere we go, and then you go to England, France, Germany, Italy, Hong Kong, and Brazil were like gods. And I met a Brazilian kid, right? And he's like, it's like a million hits, Mr. Omar, just saying that word, right? But so I met this kid. I was at an autograph signing. They were holding him up. He was trembling.
Oh my goodness.
That's how they are with, So who God put that on Chris Rock's mind. He would see me say hello. Like, I would think he didn't care one way or the other. But then he got this show, he says, no, I wanted to be Raj, and seeing you made me think anything was possible because you were the nerd. You were always awkward with the dating and everything. So he could identify. Right. In 4 years, we did that, and it's even more popular in Europe than it's even here. And now we are on Comedy Central, the animated version. Everybody still hate Chris. Yeah, they still hate it. They still hate Chris. So God, it's just amazing. Yeah, that,
See, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
And you have just totally proceeded your own probably expectations in life.
I had, yeah, definitely surprised because I thought definitely being on the drugs and especially when the freebase came, where you're just, the pimps and the prostitutes, God bless them, they were my biggest fans because no one else wanted. It's funny how all the Christians and the Muslims guy was dealing with both. When the show's over, oh, you disappointed God, and oh, you're just like bad news, right? But here, the pimps and the prostitutes and I'm ignoring them. Like, how you doing? Like, they said, man, why you do that? We love you, right? And the show was on twice a day, and thank God for them. Yeah. They would say, oh man, you gonna get another show and all that. They would keep me pumped up. They were the pimps and the prostitutes, and I said that in church. I said, y'all failed. Right. It was the reject shit. The people y'all said don't deal with, and the prostitutes made sure I would eat, make sure I had vitamins. Like, if you're going to take the drugs, you got to make sure you have vitamins and you got to eat properly, So that type of love, I was. And then Muhammad Ali, he became my lifesaver, and I just met him by accident. God had it. I wanted to meet him. I was praying to meet him. And I tell people, if you want to meet someone, you get a visual, get a magazine, get photos. Now, people thought I was in the voodoo, or they said I was a warlock. But I had photos. I bought any magazines with Ali, and I put it out there, and I'd be praying, Lord, I got to meet Ali because I'm out here on these drugs. I'm typecast. So a week later. Yeah, so it went, you are a warlock.
Yes, right.
Definitely one. Yeah. And he just, oh my Lord. Ali, oh God, this gave me so much love. And I didn't feel worthy. So he would send the limo for me and all that. And I'd be hiding because I didn't feel worthy at times. Then he came in the Rolls Royce himself and got me like, look, you got to stop this crap. I'm just another trying to get bigger. No, you know the N word. So he would just say, he says, are you popular? But when you walk down the street, do they recognize you? I said, yeah, I'm popular. And I'm like, oh Lord Jesus. He said, well, I'm gonna see. So we're in the Rolls Royce, and we're going down Sunset Boulevard. I'm like, Lord Jesus, because sometimes people don't. Sometimes
depends on where you are,
right? And so if we go down. And this is a God honest truth. Every other prostitute, hey, what you want, bro? What you want? I love you. And Ali was like, man. I said, no, Ali, no. He goes, no. He gave me that look like, yeah, whatever. True story. True story.
Funny. I all knew you. Oh my God. So basically now, since you're talking about that, and maybe some people were not even aware what was like the lowest point of your life when you got involved in drugs and going through this change?
Being in a hotel, because when you get high with the pimps and prostitutes, they're going out, they're out, but the pimps, they get paranoid. They cool with you and they love the show, but when they start getting paranoid. Now they got the gun out, thinking that the police are coming in, and you hear helicopter. You do hear the helicopters, and I am too. But I have a thing about I don't want to. I take pride in being calm, forcing myself. So I have a song in my mind. If music is on, fine. If not, I'll think of something. I don't want to get lost. I don't want to go nuts. So so they would get paranoid. The pimps, the freebase does get you. You got to take a break and come down. So it gets so good to you, you want, and you doing the weed too, you're doing the cognac. So now they're going to the window, doing the shade and walking back and forth, and they drive me crazy. And the last time, the one made me really, it was a pimp I had never met before. He was there, and he kept looking at me crazy. Like I was a undercover or something. I don't know. And he had the gun in his hand. I said, Lord, Jesus, help me. And I just stayed calm the whole time. Just stayed calm. I went the last time, and then I went to then from then on. I said, I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna go to a hotel and get high by myself.
Right, which is even worse.
Yeah. So you can OD, no one can
be smart.
Right, that's real
Smart.
smart. So I go to the hotel. That's the lowest point, and I'm there, and I would get butt naked, and I have my little porn mags out. That time they didn't have the video and all that, so I would, and then I have my cognac, I have the weed, so you're so high. Oh man, the ecstasy is indescribable. But then, because it's two-faced, right? The three-face. Then you come down when there's no more left. And everything that ever happened to you from a child on comes in. All the negative and just self-doubt. You fail God and you're miserable. All the stuff that the devil just, he has a field day. Then you start seeing things, shadows look like people. Because you got, remember you got the weed and the coke and the cognac. So you start seeing shadows that look like men, and they're whispering, all that. And now I got to make myself go to sleep. So I always had sleeping pills. So I take the sleeping pills. But as I take the sleeping pills, I'm like, Lord, please, Lord, forgive me. I'm terrible, I'm crying, all that. Then I'm like worrying as I take the pills, I'm sleeping, I might die because I've taken all. So now I'm worried about that.
Sure.
That was the worst, one. And then you think that would be it. So one more time, because they're trying to make me do stand-up comedy. And I had about 10 or 15 minutes that Robin Harris had helped me with. And this young Jewish kid, 19 years old, and he helped it. So I combined it, but I didn't want to. But oh no, you could do stand-up. And so I'm in New York, and they want me to go to the Village to do this stand-up. And they liked it 10 to 15 minutes. They said, Ernie, you need to do an hour. I said, I don't have no hour. So anyway, I'm drinking some type of brown liquor. It wasn't even the cocaine or weed. It was just a brown liquor. And by the time I get to the Village, the lights are dancing. I am so out of it. And I'm literally crying, asking some stranger, I don't know who the guy, said, Mr. I'm trying to get back to 888 8th Avenue. That's where I was living up there with a friend. And could you tell me what train to get on? And I got back there, and my roommates were gone. And that's when I just cried like a baby, asking God, Lord, I can't even help you. I said, Lord, I'm going to die if you don't help me. And as I speak to you, I want the Coke again. So I need you to take the desire away from me, And then, you go to sleep, and they, you saw 2 days, a week, but you're thinking, I've been there before. I did a year, 2 years, and you go back. Now, 35 years later. So tell me, Jesus is real, I honestly thought I would die because the Coke, that was such an addictive, and was Richard Pryor's girl, same, she made it so pure, and I would get extra because I knew she had a crush on me, so I wore the skinny jeans and the show will be on. She said, I can't believe you're sitting here in the show. I said, yeah,
That's me.
So she gave me extra. But yeah, so it was so good. And I said, Lord, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, right.
And my friends were whispering, even when your friends are saying you die, and the wives tell you. So the wife said, yeah, they say you're going to end up dead in a hotel. So, and you can see why, because I was doing it in a hotel. And anyway, 35 years later,
God bless you.
Jesus Christ doesn't lie. I still can't believe, I pinch myself. I never thought this.
That you made it
this
through.
Yeah, never
Never
thought.
could have made it.
Yeah, never. Oh,
Never
love that
made it.
song, Marvin Sapp.
I love it.
Never,
Me too.
baby. I tell people, oh no. So I don't kind of judge nobody for it. I've been there and done that.
That's
Yeah.
We got to go backwards to go forwards because a lot to unpack there. Talk to us about, there was a place we were going when we were talking about sort of not wanting to go into acting.
Yeah.
You land the role of a lifetime and have said things like, those that put you up are the first ones to cut you down. Help us understand, because there's a reason why the drugs became such a solution.
About when the same people. Yeah. That it's funny when you have fame and money, you couldn't,
Touch. Maybe that's just true.
And it's like everything you say is interesting. You could just be running your mouth talking about nothing, right? A lot of times I get high, I be talking about everything and falling and doing this and that, and they just, they just put up with it. When you're broke, you're like, yeah, man, and look, I got. I gotta go. Yeah, I was just, yeah, man. Yeah. So, and it's the closest. It was the close friends that disappointed, that hurt me the worst. That they very close friends, and because I was in Malibu, and it was one of those parties in '77, and there were a lot of celebrities there, and people. I don't know people doing heroin. I won't name the name, but it was a singer there, very famous, and she was doing heroin in the bathroom, and so my friends from Gary were there visiting, but we're close, But the woman, because she was on the heroin, she obviously was bisexual, so she was hitting on my friend, and they of course they loved her, they admired her, but now they see the same woman stroking the woman's hair, stroking the guy's hair, and like they're so beautiful, and they are freaking out, right? And then they go back to Gary and talk about me like a dog. I'm having bisexual orgies. I'm turning out the men and the women. I said, yeah, I'm all that. I'm Pimp Daddy, right? And so that part that hurts, because once it's like they say in the film Doubt, gossip, right? To get rid of gossip, you'd have to it's like going to the roof, taking a pillow and open and shaking out all the feathers. And if you can pick up all those feathers, then you can take the gossip back. You can't, so once it's out there, right? And then you have people talking about, because your friend said it. Now you hear people whispering about you when you come to Gary, oh, he's a big old F word, you hear someone whispering that because if your friend said it, gotta be true, and so that part that hurts, and the cousins, same thing, you just cannot believe it.
Yeah, the animosity and the
Yeah,
jealousy and the haters and things.
yeah,
It's
they just,
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
But you just
Yeah,
go like that. Stay prayerful and know your value, your worth, and that is not true. But it does hurt when people say things. I mean, we've all kind of experienced something like I have.
and I'm an empath, so it really, I feel everything, and so I learned now. I just had 3 years ago, a near fatal accident, head-on collision. So that's something I've been dealing with, depression, anxiety, had to get a therapist. Never thought that would happen too. But back to those friends, they're very close friends. Even it started, doctor, even before that. I remember the first play, the one I did when they gave me that leave of absence. My best friend at that time, as far as in New York, he and his wife came to see me. And this Negro, you know what I'm trying to say. This Negro had the nerve. So he says, I said, he come in the green. I said, yeah, so, I got a review of Kathleen Carroll, Daily News. She's tough. She loves me. But here's this Negro and his wife. Yeah, I don't see this for you. I know. Lord help me, Jesus. So I did, and I said, take it back. He said, what? I said, take it back. I don't know discussion. Either take it back or you and your wife both leave now and never see me again. So you got that. I don't want no discussion. So he said he apologized. And I tell young people that story. I said, I still excommunicated him. Why? Because it was a fake apology.
Right.
See, they want to stay on so they can do more damage. And if they never say a word, that energy, that spirit is still bringing you down. It's dead weight.
Amen.
So I still let him go. But I said, I accepted, never called him again.
There you go.
And I'm good. I have the gift of goodbye. I learned because I fell in love with acting. And because I know God is real when he says, don't be unequally yoked. You can't be around people who don't believe. I don't have the patience to try to get you, wait till you get it together, and I've had a few, even recently, I had to get rid of a manager. Same thing, because he was a good guy, but I could see you were no longer a fan of mine. You no longer a fan of me as a human being. You no longer, you feel I don't need to, you feel so important that you don't feel like you need to work. Right. You really work for me.
Right. Still.
So I had to oh, Lord, I got to, and this person was a good person before. But my mother told me, and when your mother tells you, that's right. My mother on her deathbed, I took care of her till her last day. And she says, yeah, man, I don't like him. I don't treat girls. Mom, how dare, well, that's my friend. You're a woman of God. How can you say, he ain't got nothing to you? She said, I don't care. I said what I said now. Right. And I said, no, he did this before. Yeah, he did that then. I'm talking about now.
Right. That's right.
And if I had followed her with her advice, then I would have done it. But I didn't see no evidence. But he revealed himself. Mm-hmm. That's right. And on her death, she would not take it back. And they are stubborn in a lot of areas. But when it comes to your safety and your safety, they can pick your friend. They know. They see what you don't see.
Sure. That's very.
And so it hurt me, but I had to get rid of it.
So now we're set up for Muhammad Ali with that same type of clairvoyance and was able to see that in you and the friendship. Talk to us about how you actually came to meet him.
With Ali? Yeah. Oh, how he felt.
Right. Because of, it wasn't just I met him and we became friends.
Oh, yeah, yes. Oh, no. Oh, man. He saw through me because with my pride, and I was staying at the YMCA when I had those pictures and praying for him. And then when I meet him, I had the audacity because he sees me and a lady tells me, up in the car. And this lady, she didn't say Raj, she says, hey, Muhammad Ali's at the magic shop on Hollywood Boulevard. And, you should go in there. Now, it looks like it's closed, but just open the gate. And she went away just like that. Not like, hey, I recognize you, nothing. So I go in there, and then the people recognize me, and I'm signing autographs, and I feel this stare. He's like, oh, no, you ain't coming into my kingdom. Right. Without. So I went, oh, hold up, y'all. No, I'm here for Ali, y'all. Wait. So I go there, and I do. I've always, I loved him so much that when he lost to Joe Frazier, that person, I literally was crying, right? So that's his. He didn't know about that. So I go and he's looking and he said, "Do the laugh." He just kept do it again. And I'm like, what? I said, come on, you don't watch what's happening. He said, yes, I do. So he had to because he wouldn't know about the laugh. So then he said, so you need anything? I said, oh no, I'm good. And he went, like, Negro.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Right. And he said, so you sure you don't do this? I said, no. And he gave me a mean look, brother. And so as he giving me this mean look, he writes out, well, here's my number in case you do need something. I said, oh, okay, And 3 months it took me, my pride. I suffered at the YMCA for no reason. So they got so bad when I had to call them. And I remember going, and that thing about your legs becoming rubber.
Right.
I never had that feeling until I was walking up the steps of his mansion, and my friend had to hold me up. I was so intimidated, and I'm a giver, so I never had to ask anybody for anything. And I hated the fact that I had to, but also he's always, Mom, always, and I love him. And so I go in there, and he asked me, he says, he says, do you want to stay here? And Veronica, his wife, was right behind him, and she looked at me like, Negro, I wish I cut you. I wish try it, see what happens. And I went, no,
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 don't even think about it.
I mean, she's sweet today, but
Yes, right.
at that time, and Ali was cheating on her too. So I'm like, she's not a bad lady at all. But anyway, so I said, so he put me in a kitchenette. Put me up in a kitchenette, and he said, he had all these friends from back in the day, and they hated my guts. So I tell him, say, yeah, they give me evil looks. Now I don't want him to go in there, and so he said, look, y'all stop bothering him. Well, now they hate me even more. I done snitched. He ain't no bum. He ain't no bum. I need to help him. Joe Frazier helped me. So with all that, right? And so we became friends one day when I called him. I said, Ali, I need $1,000, for I really need it for some freebase, but I lied, And so he says, you know what? People always call me for money. They want this, they want that, but they never ask me about what I need. And I said, you tell me, what's on your mind? And so that's when I said, I'm really good. I said, I'm a good friend. Can nobody out-friend me? I said, so I didn't know you have so many, you got De Niro and I said, but I can be you can tell. And that's when he told me things that I would take to my grave, but stuff that, the family, people he was taking care of, just this long list on this yellow pad of people. Every month he was paying their bills and their mortgage and their car note, and personal hurts, and so that's when I met, hit Lonnie, because he was getting a divorce from Veronica. And he says, I'm going to show you a woman. I want you to meet the woman who really loves me for who I am. She don't care, because he's known her since she was 4 years old.
Right.
He used to babysit her. And so that's how we became, we really became close. And he told me, he says, now you need to get you a new show. So what's up with that? I said, well, I can't, Sony, you got to have an interview. I mean, you got to have you got to get the appointment. He said, there are no rules. And that's how I tell young people. I always said, there are no rules. As long as you're not hurting anybody. That's when he would go to sign listen at 3 a.m. You ugly. Yeah. So I went there. My little treatment. I'm like, oh man, I'm just scared and all. I just went, and I was so sure I wouldn't get in. I had a t-shirt and jeans on that day, figuring the guy gonna turn me away. So I said, yeah, I'm here to see Herman Ross. She was the president of Sony. He said, oh yeah, go right on in. Just like Ali said.
Right.
And so, and then again, I believe in something that no one believed in. No one believed there would be another What's Happening, including all the cast members. Everyone thought I was crazy, to the point my agent dropped me, my manager dropped me. They thought I was going through mental illness. And I said, no, I feel there's another What's. So again, I'm one man alone again. I tell people it's okay, because God will give you a word that you can't tell. Like, everyone think you're crazy when you tell them, yeah, God is telling me there's another what's happening. And there, one writer told me that I met from the Jeffersons. That was the first sitcom I done. And he says, Ernie, Amos and Andy will come before there'll be another what's happening. So I went, so even I left that treatment when I got to the Herman Rush. He sent me a letter, said, Ernie, I appreciate your enthusiasm. There's no audience who knew what's happening. So I'm still saying, I'm not buying that. I'm going to start a signature campaign. So I go to Gary, Indiana, Mayor Hatcher, and Mayor, I've done a lot of free things for you. I need you to have a press conference saying you're going to be the first signature. And he did that. Again, everyone think I'm really losing it. And I'm in Compton. I do a little acting workshop there, and I do go to this sandwich shop. And while I'm there, the agent calls and says, Ernie, are you sitting down? You need to sit down. I'm like, what's going on? They have decided to do the new What's Happening called What's Happening Now. And you talking about Twilight Zone, you're hearing like, what? And I said, and I said, what? Yeah, they are going to do 2 years. What's happening now? And just, yeah, so so again, if I had decided not, so those actors got 3 years of checks because of and I'm boasting about Christ. So, again, not say it, but it's a lonely place to be when everyone is saying no and don't believe in you. And you go to sleep with that. You got to wake up with that. But if you believe it, you got to go with it. If it might be just you and you alone, but because of everybody eats. Everybody will eat. Everybody will benefit.
That's right.
All right. From you being one man alone saying, I know this to be true. Yeah. So, and it was number one in syndication. Yeah.
That's why I wanted to bring that out so that we could really have a setup for some of the dealing, basically self-medication.
Yeah.
Let's go to the show since you're bringing it up and talk about some of that turmoil in her, especially with Mr. Berry, who I know you made up with in the end, but it caused a lot of chaos. And I think it was an internal fight, so to speak, to try to keep him.
With Fred Berry. Oh, yes. Yeah, my beautiful brother, God rest him, I told his daughter, your father, when he was on that cocaine, he just became a different person. So he's Ernie Bird. I don't know why he called me. That was my Ernie Bird. No hard feelings, but I'm the star of the show, Ernie Bird. Without the fat guy, ain't no show, Ernie Bird. So he started this whole campaign, he did it the first, the original was happening, but he didn't go, they punished him by suspending him, so he came around. But even then, he still just, the drugs made him say things because our producers being Jewish at that time, I bet was Muslim for a brief period. So he's saying, yeah, Farrakhan. He called me Farrakhan Jr. So now they looking like, huh?
Where?
Where? So all that's going. So it was just like we had a record deal with MCA with what's happening now. God bless Gerald Busby gave us called What's Happening Now Peace. It was a song, Stay in School, Obey Your Parents, like that. And the great Norman Whitfield was our producer. And Herman Rush gave us a one-time deal to even do merchandise. Even the legal department said it would never happen. I sent him a dozen roses and said, yeah, I know. To the man, I said a dozen roses, said, you will be a hero of Black people, generations and generations to come, because it's so much the violence and all that's going on. And so he gave us a one-time deal, all that with Fred, and he was going to be on there on the record. He decides at the last minute, and we're about to sign. And I decide that I'm not gonna do it. So now they expecting the three of us,
Right.
we're the three stooges, right? And so I cannot believe, because God told me that you trying to take the money, and I said, was it the cocaine, God?
Really?
Yeah, what the hell? God told you, like, Negro,
Really?
So Danielle ended up being the one, so it was Danielle, and then he told them that the Jewish, we hated them. We thought they were racist. So You got the Jewish producers who had folks that survived the Holocaust, and the last thing they wanted to be called are racist. And so they had a meeting. Well, since y'all believe we are racist, we're gonna end the show. That was the first show. And then, so the first, the original was happened. Then the second one, he won the $1 million deal, And of course, they didn't give him. That's how they hired Martin Lawrence, and he just got. But before he died, to his credit, he became born again, and he asked for forgiveness for everything he had done. Everything he done, and his daughter is like my goddaughter. I talked to. She looks like him. She's a female rerun.
Is that right?
She's a female Fred Berry. But that was. Oh Lord, just it just, and the same person now who would backstab me like that, if he felt I was at some club and a guy got smart with me, got bumped into him, whatever, and Fred said, "Don't worry, Ernie Bird, ain't nothing gonna happen." He shows a gun. Fred got a gun. The same person rather to throw down, but he with the business deals, right? But he's ready to go with this guy. So that was the thing, and I miss him so much. How can I tell you how much I miss Fred? And because I know deep down inside, and I made my mistakes too. When I was on the drugs, I came high. It was 2 episodes that I had. That was in the toot in the coat. That I was on, and but I could carry it well.
Right.
Or but I told that recently to Haywood. I said, there were 2 episodes I had the coat. I was really ashamed that I did, but I did. But I didn't. I loved the business, the art of it so much. I didn't want to. I didn't want to ever not come through as an actor. But so that was quite. And Mabel King, God rest her soul. Mabel had the ego too. Mabel and Bud Yorkin said that to me day one. We had done just the 4 episodes, and we were a summer replacement. And the phenomenal thing about what's happening, we were a replacement that went at like top number 3, number 4, and then we end up only 69 episodes that became more popular in reruns than it was in prime time. People they still eat it like popcorn. Those good times, they have 100, 200 shows. We only had 69 that people ate over and over and over and over and over and over again. So he says, "Well, I got rid of John Amos." He came to me this close. He said, "Ernie, I am the king. All right. I got rid of John Amos, and your mother, she's gonna be a problem." I went, "Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of her too. And Ernie, I will get rid of you. I will get rid of you too. I am the king. Do you believe I'm the king?" I said, "Oh, hell yeah, you're the king."
Yes, my Lord.
Those checks. Those checks. Yeah, you're the king. So, and sure enough, at first, she did great. She was fine. And because she was my man. I idolized her. She was in The Wiz. I had seen her on Broadway 15 times. So she's my mother, and but she wanted to have creative control the 3rd year, and X amount of money for salary, and so they let her go. And I felt bad for her, but and even when we did What's Happening Now, I was trying to get them to bring her back. I said, "Won't you come? Just come." And I'll have a guy, the comedian that's hosting it, to have you sing something and win over the crowd, and they'll say, "Yeah, we want her back." So she came and sang. And he said, "Oh, we got the mother, the original Mabel King. Mabel, you're a great singer. We saw you in The Wiz. Sing something." So she sang, "You Never Walk Alone," all that. So, and the crowd went nuts, right? And I went to the producer and said, "So, hey man, he said, no, she will what? She'll walk alone."
You will never walk.
Oh my God! No, she'll walk alone, and that's not funny. But God rest her soul. But brilliant lady. And I had my boy. I wanted, I thought some of the word G. I just hated that word. G rerun. I'm like, I don't use it. Ernie, you have to say that for Middle America. And I realized they were, because when I met Tupac, Scarface, Method Man, Will Smith, you name them, I didn't know hip hop. I would think they would think I was corny. They wouldn't want nothing. Man, they become like little Dr. Dre. They're like children. They come like a little kid. They don't mention nothing about no G, they just love the show, right? And Shaquille O'Neal doing the rides, dance, and he's a big deal. Like, oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Lord, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, thank you very much. All right. He's still doing it. And Kobe, man, you stupid. Stop. But so you get, so all that. But God rest, but back to Mabel. Again, an incredible person, but and you can't. You have to wait till you have that power to make those demands.
Yes, you do. Oh, they'll get rid of you in a heartbeat. In this business, they don't care.
They
it's
do
gold.
not. Yeah.
Cutthroat. I'm known
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
You come to work one day,
So
show's gone.
So I made my mistakes. Trying to push. Hey, I want this.
Yeah, but you have to ask. But you never know till you ask.
Right.
And it's how you ask. And don't ask again.
Right. Yeah, how you ask and don't ask. Yeah. Right. And I simply no. I wasn't. I made mistakes. Being arrogant. And I remember coming to you read the whole story. On Mondays you read the sitcom. And I was one of those days I've been up all night with the cocaine, and I had a red and white jogging suit on, and Fred was, Lord, candy cane man, candy cane man. So I'm like, I'm already trying to act, taking the coffee, trying to act like I was up all night. So we read the script, the producers, I'm so embarrassed, like, I hope they don't know. Then Bernie, he said, hey guys, Saul or Bernie, we're gonna take this week off, guys. And then I knew, so, cause we had problems with the script, but it was really me.
Oh, really?
Because I was just so
out of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I said, they ain't making you do drugs now.
Right.
You can't blame them for you being on drugs. So when I look at it, we were blessed by Bud, Saul, and Bernie, because they put us on the map. That's the bottom line, And because of that, still I became a Muhammad Ali, a Dr. Maya Angelou, Burt Reynolds gave me his personal number so twice, and I still didn't call him because I didn't feel worthy to call the man. And and meeting James Stewart, Sammy Davis Jr., all the people you admire, but not thinking, and Sidney Poitier when he hired me for Piece of the Action, and he again said, I just came there to help a friend out, so. And I was on vacation. He said, you don't want to be in my movie? I said, well, you don't want to be in a movie with me? I'm like, oh, you know what? What's that? Yeah. Like part of my vacation. Forget, So he said, plus, I'm a fan of the show. I said, oh, here we go. Now, come on. You're Sidney Poitier. You do not watch What's Happening. And he proceeded to do a scene from What's Happening verbatim. Wow. The girl said this to you. The girl said, hey, Raj, I heard you're a cool guy. Are you a cool guy? And I said, cool. You got to change for an Ice Cube. And Sidney Poitier. Wow. Yeah, so he was not. So anyway, but I was in such awe of him with it. And at that time, I'd be staring at him. And so he got upset. He got angry with me, like, hey, snap out of it.
I'm sick. Really?
Well, okay. Yeah, because I just be, because, I watched him, in Lily of the Fields, black and white. How is this possible that I'm in a film with Sidney Poitier, So even when later on, Quincy Jones invited us to this big party, was a fundraiser for Charlie Rangel, the politician in New York. And I don't know why I got invited. Seriously, like all these big stars I went, they must have made me. But there I was. That's not my name. So Sidney goes, hey, this guy, I owe him money. for the job he did a piece of the action. He said, I really owe him. You know, he did give me pretty cheap. I was just happy to do
Yeah,
it.
right, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, the agent was upset. I just signed for whatever. Yeah, it was real cheap, but I didn't care, you know. And but he really genuinely loved me. He was my imaginary father, you know. Anyway, since I never met my dad, it might as well be him, right? He said, so when he passed away, I said, you know, heartbreaking news, my imaginary dad and my hero, you know, City 48. So yeah, to see all the people that you admire you, you know, it's yeah. And particularly being embraced by the hip hop nation, you know, because again, I didn't see them, you know, like you know, the Queen Latifahs, you name them, you know, they love, and even Will Smith invited me to his father's birthday thing, and he was telling Jalen, he said, Jalen, this is my hero. This is a guy I learned from watching them every week, and there were no reruns like every, you know, it took a long time. So you don't know.
See there?
You know? So I just thank God. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Lord Jesus, that all these years, and now I receive it better. I'm better at receiving that instead of being shying away from it, just embracing it. You know?
And a whole new generation too are able to watch it because of the reruns and streaming TV and everything. It's like it's a new day to them, a whole new show.
And I have to apologize to y'all. I just did something, and it was a manager a long time ago, my lawyer a long time ago. He said, Ernie, doing interviews, they ask you one question and you do a monologue.
We love it though. We love it. That's what we're all about. You see, we're listening 10.
Let them ask you.
That's okay.
I do the same.
That's okay.
I do the same thing when I'm being interviewed.
Oh my Lord! I just realized I did it again.
It's very entertaining. We're about entertaining here. And you know, aside from all your acting and everything you've done and been through, we know you have added the title of author to your title, what you're doing nowadays. Tell us about your book. Oh,
yes, I'm very. Keep America Great. Let the women lead. Eve's Redemption, and is my honoring women who I believe are the of the world. You know the word about all over, but and because and there's no outrage. You know, I think churches should be talking about it every Sunday. Women are being murdered every day. Every single day in America, every 8 hours here, every 4 hours around the world, they are one thing. All men, no matter what, they might not like each other, the Arab and the Jew and the black and the white and all that. But one thing they agree on: women are second-class citizens. So I think about my mother being beaten by the stepfathers and the boyfriends, and I can't do nothing about it. Just the violence against women every 90 seconds, how much violence, and how there's so many women. You talking about the richest place in the world, they say, is a cemetery. All those women who had ideas, who dare not speak for being killed. And even they're trying to help their husband, like he got something, but she sees something he doesn't see. He's upset that she says it, so he'll beat her, you know? So I think about all those women in the graves, you know, who this is in honor of them, especially women and all the little girls coming now. You don't need your father's permission. You need the preacher's permission. You need only God's. If God put, not that men shouldn't lead. So a lot of men, when I put this on Instagram, they were hating on me like, oh, I used to like you. I don't like you anymore. It's unbiblical. It's this and that. Just attacking me. And I'm thinking, you don't get it. I'm not talking about men shouldn't lead. But women who have that in them, they shouldn't shy away from it. Even if your husband, because he might not, you know, he might not be the smartest tool in the shed, right? But you ain't got to say that.
Right.
You honor him for what he can do.
That's true.
But you need to, and that's another, you got to be discerning to marry the right man. So women got to get, the thing about what women fail is marrying he fine girl, and he got a nice booty, and he got the good hair, or he likes skin, all that. You gotta marry the frog now. Okay, the frog might be Jesus walking.
Turn into the prince.
Right? Yeah, the frog, and he might not ever. He might. Well, he just like plain, but he got the heart of Christ in him,
And his ribbit.
and loves you.
And his ribbits.
Right? But
And he know how to hop around. He don't stay still too long.
yeah.
No, you gotta watch that frog. God dang it. Frog.
And this lady told me, she says, Ernie, I was an old lady in the building, and that's the time I was going through the old being broke and all that. And she said, "What's wrong, baby?" I said, "Oh, show ended. I'm broke. I ain't got no money. I'm trying to keep this drug thing." She said, "Pray about it. I want you to go by the water. And God will give." Say, our bodies are mostly water. So if you want an answer from God, the best thing is pray by the water. And she said, I was in high school, and when we graduated, there were two guys interested in me, a pretty boy and just a plain Jane, And I was torn because they both liked me. But she said, he was so handsome, and all the girls wanted him. And so she went by the water because the old lady told her to do it. She goes by the water. And God tells what she don't want to hear is to marry the plain Jane guy. So she marries that guy. She said, Ernie, we've been married 23 years now, never had an argument. The pretty boy killed his wife within a year. Mm-hmm. He murdered his wife in a year. How about, so the women, the mistake y'all make, you're looking at the outer appearance. And God ain't nothing in the Bible about choose your mate according to how he look. It's the heart. So forget about, maybe he got a big nose, maybe he stutters. I have my niece, this young girl, this lady, she's my god niece. So I introduced her to a young man who had a master's degree and all that, and I thought they'd be perfect. So she says, it ain't gonna work out. And I said, what? She says, he stutters. I said, the guy is like, he's a preacher's kid. He got the, but I'm like, say it already. I said, shame on you. I know it's shallow, but I can't. But y'all got to get all of those things. Because you're closing the door on happiness, So this book is honoring, and it's a call, it's a cry to women, a rallying cry for young girls. Look, God might be telling you something, and you're like, I can't dare, but I'm not supposed. No, you are supposed to. You may have an invention, you may have an idea. Maybe your father has something. Your dad. You know what I see? If you put that with that, don't be afraid to speak up and be that leader. But it's also asking all the majority, the silent majority of men who do love their women, but they're quiet. The problem with the silent majority, you see the carnage that goes on, the women being murdered every day. And don't tell a man you're leaving. That's when they're cheating on you, but they don't want you to be happy. They'd rather kill you. Why are these men, the silent majority, need to be out in the streets marching for equality of wages? But not just that, the carnage. We don't want this. We're tired of men beating on our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. So this is also to them. You're good brothers, but you're not doing, you're part of it. You're part of the problem, Because in my family, when I got old enough, we didn't allow that. I knew some, especially when I got what's happening, brothers who looked tough brothers. And I said, hey, my sister got a problem with this husband. And they came over. We had no problem out
That's
of him.
right, honey. You know it.
Yeah, my goddaughter, I told him at the wedding, I said, look, young man, you be like a son to me, but if I see a black guy, she can cry. Tell me she bumped into something. No, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna give you a beat down, and I'm not going to jail for you. I'm gonna have some brothers out of nowhere.
You'll never see it coming.
No, because where are the men? Where are the men when these women are going through, and where are the men, the uncles and the brothers? And I don't understand that. So under my watch, we ain't having that. So that's another thing. The silent majority, they got to speak up, and they got to handle business too. In case you got a hard-headed brother that don't quite understand, a bully don't understand, trying to, you can't reason. So sometimes you got to put, foot to, you know what I'm saying?
To tell.
Foot, and you gotta, because how many more women got to die? And I don't understand why the churches are not saying that. Hey, man, we know this is going on. And if you're out there now, if you need anchor management, hey, we're here. We need to pray for you, but we are not going to allow this in our church. And their preachers doing it too. It ain't just people. I know a lady who was married to a preacher for 27 years. She said, Ernie, I would go with black eyes with shades on. He preaching in the pulpit.
Yep.
They don't know I got beat that night.
Wow.
So it's an honor, and my mother, seeing her where you can't do anything about it. You're 3 years old. I remember I had a little red fire truck, and she said, Ernie, and she hollering for me, and all I can do is come up, and he throwing me out. I can't do nothing. And so it angered me, and I still have resentment. I pray on that all the time. I have a lot of resentment because I think those men owe me an apology.
Mm-hmm.
Even now, they should come and say, I'm sorry that you saw me beat your mother like a man. You owe me an apology. So this is and Eve's redemption. And the reason it says that because Eve was given the wrong. Yes, it's not that she's innocent, but Adam was with God. He's God's road dog, right? He's with God. He's made out of the dirt and God shaped him. He said, and named the animal. Ain't nobody but him and God. Eve comes along later, right? And because she obeyed the serpent and then Adam take this. And you remember all that, so you got amnesia? You're with the creator of all. So no, Adam is the reason. We love our father, Adam, but he's the reason. Eve, she's not innocent, but she just had a suggestion, baby, And I know he looking at her and she in full naked and all that. So no, he got, whatever whatever.
Tapping.
But so it's that too, that Eve, if they have the Innocent Project now, right? For people who were in jail and they didn't commit the crime. If today Eve would be put, because they've used that to treat women like crap ever since.
That's true.
So this is for them, and I pray to God that I thank God for this. As long as when I do go, I know some young lady somewhere in the world will say, you know what? I can. It's me and God is enough. You and God is enough. Yeah.
We've had an inspirational word or two or three today from Ernest Thomas. So first, dealing with what many people in the industry kind of keep a secret, but it can have this feeling of being an imposter syndrome. You really kind of don't feel like you're good enough or don't really want to have the same level of success, that when it comes, you're so surprised that it really can take a toll on you internally. And one of the ways that can be medicated or self-medicated is often very destructive, be it alcohol, be it too much sex, be it, in this case, cocaine and drugs and things of that nature. So it's really important that people find that self-love. And in his work and in his authorship, he's written a book to really try to help people, especially not only honor our women, but continue to lift them up. This industry and the world in general often can do such a good job of tearing women down and tearing people down. Despite all of his success, he still felt torn down inside and really thought that he could maybe fix it by a medication that isn't really a medication, cocaine. Time and Christ and his faith and a praying grandmother helped him finally realize that you're worthy of love, you're a phenomenal actor, we still love you, and we appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate this. A good time. Yeah, I feel like I'm just talking to the family in the living room here. Yeah.